Hey there, it's Sam here with the little one. It's been a while since I've done one of these. We've had different things going on at the Bedtime routine, at the evening hour, and also I was having computer issues for a while. Made it hard to do a recording. I'm not very computer savvy, if you didn't know. So probably something simple that I could have figured out easily. But here I am again, doing another one of these nerdy bedtime stories. I look back at the first one, which was Iron Man, and in that video it said he was 2 months old. He's now 7 months old. So again, I know I've skipped one. I've skipped several. I was over several weeks. I was trying to do one like once every week for a while there, but clearly that hasn't happened. So we've got a ways to go and some catching up to do if we're gonna do every movie in the MCU by the time he turns a year old, which is an arbitrary goal that I kind of made up and just now articulated. But we'll see. So, are you ready for today's story? Today's story, Benny, is called Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Okay? And this is one of the best Marvel stories that they've made a movie of. Okay? It's really good. I'm not going to do it justice here, but I'll try. So, once upon a time, in the Marvel Universe, there was a soldier named Steve Rogers. Remember him? And Steve used to live in the past. He was born a long time ago, but then he got frozen in the ice, and he woke up in the present now. So after he fought with the Avengers, this is his next story. So he's on a military base, because that's where he lives, and it's, I guess, the one thing that's familiar to him. And he's like running some laps and trying to catch up on things that he missed in the 70 years he was frozen, or whatever. And he made a new friend, a friend named Sam, which actually is Daddy's name too, but you don't know that because you think that his name is Daddy. But this man named Sam was also a soldier who had been, I guess, in the Air Force or a wingman of sorts. You'll figure out what that means later. And now he's friends with Captain America. And let's see. I think early on there was a secret mission. I mean, maybe getting a few of the movies mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it was this one. A secret mission where Captain America and Black Widow and maybe some of the other S.H.I.E.L.D. people went after some bad guys. Black Widow's in this one. They're friends. They went after like Batroc the Leaper, who was like a minor villain from the comics. I mean, in the movies he was a minor villain too. I don't think he could carry a whole movie on his own. But he was there. I don't remember what their secret mission was. But they gathered some intelligence, and Captain America fought Batroc, and they got the information they needed. There was some kind of attack, and later Black Widow told Steve, Natasha told Steve that she thought someone named the Winter Soldier might be behind the attack or might be involved. And the Winter Soldier is like a legendary assassin who was used by the Russians, and Black Widow knows about him because she's Russian. Or I guess in the movies it was used by Hydra, but in the comics it was Russian. I don't know. Maybe there's some overlap there. Used by the bad guys. Not that all Russians are bad guys, because obviously Natasha isn't. But anyway, so yeah, so we don't know yet who the Winter Soldier is, unless you read the comics. But yeah, she thinks he might be involved, okay? And Nick Fury thinks there might be a spy on S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, okay. Actually, first a few things happen. Nick Fury, remember, he's the boss of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's the big spy guy, the top spy. He tells Steve about a project they're doing called Project Insight, which is going to, like, have some ships or drones in the air that will spy on people and keep track of threats to keep everyone safe. Which sounds like a good idea at first, but Steve isn't so sure because he thinks, well, isn't this an invasion of privacy? And is it kind of like eliminating the threats before they begin? And that raises some deep philosophical questions to think about, Benny. So you can ponder those as you fall asleep tonight. And he meets someone named, I think, Alexander Pierce. It was Robert Redford's character, who is a high up S.H.I.E.L.D. guy, or not, I guess not S.H.I.E.L.D., but like a politician working with S.H.I.E.L.D. in this case. So he's important to the story later. But Nick Fury thinks there might be a spy, and he doesn't know who he can trust. I'm just trying to set up all the pieces before the action gets going. Oh yeah, and Natasha's trying to set Steve up with a date. I guess it's kind of a subplot, but there's a girl who lives across the door or across the hallway from him, I guess, next door or whatever, named Sharon, and we'll find out more about her later a little bit. Anyway, but then Nick Fury gets attacked, like, in the middle of the road. Like, his car, his fancy smart car, stops working, and other cars are crashing into him and trying to kill him. And, like, he calls for help. He calls the SHIELD people, but no one can get to him in time. And they crash into his car and everything, and he dies. He's not really dead, but for now he dies. Okay. Let's see, and then I think Steve thought the Winter Soldier was behind it, so he I guess ran after the Winter Soldier. This maybe at a different time. I think it was close to the same time. This is a good movie. I haven't watched it in at least a couple of years. I mean, I've watched it multiple times, but not like last week or anything. So, oh yeah, you're getting full. So I'll try to do my best, Ben. Yeah, but so he went up to the Winter Soldier, and the Winter Soldier caught Steve's shield. Like, Steve threw his shield at him, and he caught it with his arm. So he has a metal arm, but he has, for reasons we don't know yet. And let's see, and he has a mask, so we can't see who he is, and like long hair and like eye makeup and stuff. So it's hard to tell who he is. I think this happened earlier, but I forgot to mention it. When during his downtime, Steve went to like a museum of history. He didn't want anyone to know that he was Captain America, so he kind of just wore a hat and stuff like that. There was a Captain America museum, and he remembered the exhibit about his friend named Bucky, who died in the war. And yeah, that's an important plot point because you'll see why. So it's a good thing I established that early on for no particular reason. And then again, Nick Fury was where there was a spy within S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that. There was a guy, a minor villain, Brock Rumlow in the comics. He's called Crossbones. He was like a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but he actually was bad. And Benny, soon Steve found out that a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. people were bad because he got in an elevator and more people kept getting in, and they were going to fight him because they knew he was good and he was going to stop from being bad. So so he fought a bunch of guys in an elevator and escaped from them. But the bad news now is Captain America is on the run. So S.H.I.E.L.D. had actually been infiltrated by Hydra spies. Remember, Hydra is the bad guys. And so a bunch of people in S.H.I.E.L.D. were actually Hydra. It's hard to say how many. And the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. dealt with this too. I don't think I'll be getting to tell you about that. Anyway. So now Captain America's on the run, and Black Widow with him because she knows he's a good guy, and Sam is helping them too sometimes because he knows that they're good guys and stuff, and they're trying to fight the Winter Soldier and figure things out. And let's see, at some point they go to, I don't know, they follow a trail looking for clues for a while. I forget the exact order of events. At some point they go to like an old computer place and realize that Arnim Zola is still alive, or at least his consciousness was preserved in the computers there. I'm sure that was important to the plot, but I can't remember why now, exactly how it happened. And later they get one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. guys named Jasper Sitwell, but he was actually one of the bad ones. He was secretly Hydra, and they try to interrogate him. I'm going to give you a high-level plot here, because I know it's we've taken several minutes already. And he basically tells them how Hydra was keeping track of, was going to use Project Insight to keep track of threats so they could destroy people who they didn't like and stuff like that. And that's not good. And Steve and Tasha were like interviewing him or like interrogating him, and they were going to drop him from the building, and they did to get him, but they didn't kill him because guess what, Benny? Sam came up and caught him because he has wings. He's actually a superhero named the Falcon, or he is now. He has like some wings he can use to fly, and he used those in the military before, and now he's a superhero called the Falcon. So that's cool. Captain America and the Falcon are going to be a team for now. And later, or I'm getting out of order, but I think it was later. Steve and Natasha had a big car chase. They were going after the Winter Soldier, and they confronted him in the middle of the street somewhere. And Steve fought him. Yeah, are you getting sleepy? And Steve fought the Winter Soldier and threw a shit at him and knocked off his mask. And guess who it was under the mask, Benny? It was Bucky. Yeah? Isn't that very surprising? Oh, that's your response to that. Okay, well, now I know what you think of that. So, yeah, it was Bucky the whole time. And Steve was like, Bucky. And Bucky said, who the heck is Bucky? So he said a different word, but I don't know which word. And basically, Benny, what happened was, this is comic book logic for you, Bucky didn't actually die. He came close to dying, and Hydra must have found him and, like, restored his body and brainwashed him and stuff to be a killer for them. That's what happened, and so all these years he stayed young because they'd kept him in cryogenic freezing when they weren't using him, and they basically turned him into a weapon against his will. And that's not very nice. So actually, Bucky didn't want to be bad, but they brainwashed him and all this stuff, so he had no choice. Okay? So Steve's friend Bucky is still alive and brainwashed and bad, which is sad. And they make it to a safe house, like a S.H.I.E.L.D. safe house. I think Maria Hill's there. And guess who else is there, Benny? It's Nick Fury, who is definitely not dead, because spies are good at faking their death, I guess. And they finally found him. So, yeah, he wasn't dead. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, Alexander Pierce is bad. And he had a more major role than I've given him in this summary. He was, other than Winter Soldier, who's brainwashed and isn't really in control of his actions, Pierce is kind of the bad guy of this movie. Okay? So, yeah. He was secretly bad, and he's secretly behind, like, Project Insight, and he was loyal to Hydra and all that stuff. Yeah, are you fascinated by the camera? Apparently so. Am I distracting you from sleeping? And yeah, so, let's see, we're getting towards the final battle. Basically, the Hydra people who were in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. now were going to try to launch the ships that would make Project Insight work, and Steve, and they told everyone that Captain America was bad, but he wasn't really bad, because they were bad. And Steve came back and gave this great speech about doing the right thing and freedom and all that stuff, and he basically told everyone else, like, are you with me, and will you stand with me in not launching the ships and stuff like that? And there was a good guy, like a worker, who said he wouldn't launch the ships, even when Crossbones was going to make him do that. And so Crossbones did it himself, and even though the people stood up to them, Hydra was still powerful and being bad, and they launched the ships. Oh no! And there was a big fight at the end with Steve and the Winter Soldier, who's Bucky, on one of the ships. But it actually wasn't a big fight, because Steve said he wasn't going to fight Bucky because Bucky was his friend, and he was trying to get Bucky to remember, but Bucky had his memories altered or brainwashed or something, and he didn't quite remember who he was. He still thought Steve was bad. So Bucky was fighting him, and Steve wouldn't fight back because he was like, you're my friend, I'm not going to fight you, and all this stuff. And I guess Steve or someone, or probably a joint effort with Hydra, or Steve and, like, Natasha and Sam and all them, they, and all the S.H.I.E.L.D. people, they took down the bad ships, and the ship that Steve and Bucky were on went into the water. So again, Steve's ship went into the water, and the ships were down, and they could have drowned, but Bucky actually pulled Steve out of the water, even though he thought Steve was his enemy. So that was nice of him, and he's starting to remember who he was, still not quite yet. And they didn't quite have a reconciliation this time, but I guess the beginnings of one. And at the end, Steve and Sam are friends, and they're going to go looking for Bucky, and Fury is believed to be dead. Of course, he's not really dead, because he doesn't die. But he is kind of off the grid, and yeah, so there's room for more things to happen in another movie. And at the very end, well, a few things happened. One, Bucky went back to that museum that were about World War II and stuff, and he saw the exhibits about him, so he's starting to remember the truth. And then in a different scene, there were some Hydra scientists who were doing experiments on two young people, a brother and sister. And we'll see more about that the next time, or in a few stories later. Okay, so you just have to wait for that one. Okay, but that's the story, and it's a powerful story about the power of friendship and doing the right thing even when it's hard. And I know I didn't do it justice just now, so I'll show it to you when you're older, Betty. But for now, I think we need to get you to bed. So thanks for watching. Good night. Like and subscribe if you enjoy for more nerdy bedtime stories. And it's appropriate I'm sharing this one now because Falcon and Winter Soldier is on Disney Plus, and it is awesome so far. So, yeah, keep listening. Thanks. Have a good night.